Strengthening sanctions against Russia, closing all loopholes to circumvent them, and bringing it to justice. This was discussed during the summit of the leaders of the Council of Europe in Reykjavik.
It is constantly committing by waging war in Ukraine. Here I'm very glad that we will have the register of damages, which is so important for justice, and justice is one of the preconditions for a just peace. But also over time, also when we think in terms of reconstruction. So it's an enormously important judicial element to have this register of damages.
The meeting of the Council of Europe was held in Reykjavik in Iceland, and the topics are quite common. The United Kingdom is already considering future security guarantees for Ukraine, but does not forget the current situation.
Coming on the back of my meeting with President Zelensky, I'll be talking to other countries, making sure that we continue to support Ukraine, give them the support that they need to defend themselves against Russian aggression, and also start thinking about the longer-term security arrangements that we will want to put in place to support Ukraine in the long term.
The Ukrainian Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal also flew to Iceland. He is on the same wave as his colleagues.
And I think that we will make the real first step on our path to find solution how to compensate all these atrocities and damages which Russia brings to Ukraine.
The general mood of the summit is well demonstrated by its host, the Prime Minister of Iceland.
What is the message to Russia?
The message is very clear, a solidarity with Ukraine.
Traditionally, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky opens the summit. He reminds us that freedom and democracy are not abstract values that are given by default. To defend them, it is necessary to make efforts and sacrifices.
We need additional air defense systems and missiles. We also need modern fighter jets, without which no air defense system will be perfect. And I am sure we will get there.
Ukraine's role in protecting Europe is indisputable. Therefore, it is not discussed. The European leaders no longer doubt its European prospects.
We are at a historic stage. We have to deal with the accession of Ukraine and certainly the countries of the Western Balkans and Moldova, and in the long term, Georgia, to the European Union.
The European Union and Ukraine are on the same side of the front line. The European Council understands that this is not just a regional conflict, as Russia tries to present it. It is an attack on the entire continent, its way of life and its values.
Unfortunately, the summit in Reykjavik is taking place at the time of the largest attack on democratic values since the fall of totalitarian regimes on the old continent. With its invasion of Ukraine, Russia wants not only to destroy the country, it also wants to revise all the values which form the basis of the Council of Europe.
At the same time, Scholz answered the question whether Germany would participate in the joint alliance announced by the Netherlands, Britain and France to train fighter pilots and supply fighter jets. He mentioned supplies of tanks, maintenance of weapons systems, ammunition and strengthening air defense against Russian attacks. Germany has already made further commitments in these areas, the Chancellor noted.
We focus on what we do. This is very relevant right now to Ukraine's ability to defend itself. Olaf Scholz, Chancellor of Germany.
Thus, at the summit of the Council of Europe in Iceland, an agreement was signed on a register of damage from Russian aggression. This is an important decision that brings Ukraine closer to victory.
As Russia wages war against democracy itself, Europe is united in standing up for Ukraine. This is our commitment. The Ukrainian people are demanding accountability for Russia's war crimes, the shelling of civilian homes, the executions in cold blood, the abduction of children from their families. Over 19,000 children have been stolen torn away from their families. This is what the summit of Iceland should focus on.
Соглашение, которое будет подписано.
The agreement, which will be signed as a Council of Europe treaty, provides for the involvement of states outside the organization as well. At the same time, individual members of the Council of Europe may refrain from signing. At the moment, the creation of the Register of Damages, which will be located in The Hague, was supported or pledged to support after the completion of internal procedures of 43 states, including all G7 countries. This is United States, Canada and Japan, which are not members of the Council of Europe. And the Council of Europe has 46 members. 6 member states of the Council of Europe decided not to join this, as they set anti-Russian agreement. For example, Bulgaria and Hungary, and several other countries. But this is not a reason for despair. On the contrary, it will make clearer to Ukrainians who take the position of Kiev and who still trusts Moscow. From Brussels, Alexei Matsuka, Ruslan Kuzgov, Vitaly Sizov for UATV News.